Hey, what's up? Really quick, Future Soul here to give you guys a little bit of a heads up that this video is a little bit on the outdated side because I recorded this before Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, but the game is out now, obviously, and I thought that this video could use a little bit of a touch-up, so I'm giving you guys this warning. I updated a little bit of the gameplay that you guys are going to be seeing throughout this video, and that's it. So just, keep in mind that this is a little outdated when I'm talking about Pokemon Legends or anything like that, because at the time, I hadn't played the game yet. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Review's on its way very soon. Just wanted to give you guys a little something to work with while it's in progress. So here you go. That's it. Take it away past me. What's that? Why shouldn't we have a game this year? Because Shinx has been in the past 3 games within the last 2 years, and if we know anything about Pokemon, it's that they will cut Pokemon that are overused in the next one that aren't Pikachu. I refused to have Shinx cut from another game, you absolute monsters. Put him in day 1. What is up, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, I suspect that we're going to be talking a lot, and I mean a lot, about Generation 9 and its possibilities and concepts and things like that throughout the year. But the first big thing that we need to discuss is the fact that we do not need Generation 9 this year. A couple of videos ago, I asked you guys what your wishes and or predictions were for 2022 when it came to Pokemon. For the most part, everybody's wishes and predictions were relatively very tame. For the most part, it was just, oh, I want updates and DLC for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and maybe Pokemon Legends Arceus, or, oh, I really want some more spin-offs like Poke Park 3 or Pokemon Rangers or something along those lines. All very valid wants. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys. However, a lot of you guys shared one very common opinion. You either A, predicted that Generation 9 was going to happen at the end of the year, or B, you are wishing that nothing of the sort shows up at all this year. And I can barely explain to you how fascinating that is to me. The fact that a good chunk of the community really wants the game to not come out this current year really says something. If you've seen my review recently, you can probably tell where my head is with that, because I am 100% in agreement with that idea. Now, I'm not necessarily speaking for everybody here, but I'm sure that for a lot of us, we've played enough of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and probably just about now seen enough of Pokemon Legends to get an idea of what needs to be changed and fixed before Generation 9 of Pokemon comes out. So that just about does it for all of the extra stuff. Why don't we start hopping into things? The first thing that we need to mention is the fact that the cycle simply needs to break. If you don't understand what I'm talking about for some reason, it's simply the fact that they have this weird need to release a game of some form every single year. And it usually has to be either a mainline game or something very mainline-esque. Mainline-esque in this case being either Pokemon Let's Go or even Pokemon Legends. Now, Pokemon Legends at the very least is a step in the right direction. But guys, we do not need yearly releases for this series. It's okay to slow down. There is literally no reason to be in a rush. There has never been a reason to be in a rush. Now, for the record, this isn't me pinning the blame on the developers. GameFreak and Ilka, y'all did what you could with the time that you had, and that's understandable. I get what happened. For the deadlines that you guys are given, I have to imagine that that pay is fat as hell to continue letting them rush you like that. But to the higher-ups that really feel that they need something to give to the Pokemon community on the hourly, guys, relax. If we're gonna sit here and be realistic, you guys have put out some very mediocre games within the last couple of years, and guess what? All of us are still very much here. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, we're not here because you guys are speeding the games out to us. We're here because we love the franchise and we always see potential for it to get better. The thing about Pokemon is, it really takes us out of our lives. It allows us for a couple of hours a day to just be a kid again and go on these adventures with our pocket monsters. While for the most part we do enjoy our experiences with these games, there's always something dragging it down, something that's keeping them from being amazing, incredible games. Now, I'm sure that I've mentioned this in a previous video beforehand at some point, but I'm gonna say it again here. Have you guys noticed that Pokemon in of itself has pretty much almost never won Game of the Year? One of the biggest franchises in Nintendo history that almost everybody and their mothers either know about or definitely plays, but it's never been even nominated for Game of the Year? Isn't that interesting? It's almost like nobody thinks that Pokemon games are Game of the Year material, ever. Why is it that one of the most popular series in such an oversaturated genre of the industry, not Game of the Year material? I'll tell you why right now. Because it is simply dragged down by time constraints. Think about it this way, let's sit down and consider all of the other Nintendo franchises that have either almost won or has won Game of the Year, and what they have in common. In 2021, Metroid Dread was one of the nominees for Game of the Year. In 2020, Animal Crossing was a Game of the Year nominee. In 2019, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was a Game of the Year nominee. And in 2017, not only was Super Mario Odyssey a Game of the Year nominee, but Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. What do these things all have in common? And no, it's not the fact that they're Nintendo games. Shut up. No, simply put, it's that they all had a ludicrous amount of time to be developed. Metroid Dread took about 3 to 4 years. Animal Crossing New Horizons was in development for about 8 years. And to get to my point quicker, Breath of the Wild, 2017's Game of the Year, was in development for about 5 years. Now let's get one thing really clear really quick. Overall, I think that the Game Awards is complete bullshit. I don't care what anybody says, I don't believe that it's actually user nominated. I don't think that matters in the grand scheme, but that's completely off topic. My point is that even Game of the Year, which is most definitely money run, does not ever recognize Pokemon as Game of the Year material, and that's so interesting to me. That almost screams volumes in a way. I feel that taking examples from some of these other games can really do Pokemon some real justice. The Legend of Zelda series is a prime example of what justice time can do when it comes to development for games. Zelda was quiet for a very long time, and then we got Breath of the Wild and we completely understood why. As of right now, we're currently awaiting the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Now, there's a couple of things here that they're doing very, very right. For one thing, we're not completely in the dark on everything. They give us little snippets and pieces and tidbits of little things that they know are good looking that they want to present to us. And B, they utilize that world, grabbed a smaller team and a different development company altogether to develop a spin-off game relating to the world of Breath of the Wild. These two things are phenomenal ways to hold over the audience that Pokemon should absolutely be taking example from. For these previous two games, being Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they showed us unfinished development progress. Regardless of the games being in a place to showcase anything, they decided to showcase something. Why did that happen? And instead of taking advantage and utilizing a different company, possibly other companies that have already done spin-off games for Pokemon, they grabbed their Pokemon Home developers to make a mainline series remake while they made a mainline series new game and put them only 2 months apart after giving each game the development time of like no more than maybe a year and a half, if that. Long story short, all of these problems could have been completely avoided if they just took more time. Just take a moment to imagine with me for a second. What if that first trailer that we got initially for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was instead the final trailer that we got? They wouldn't have had to go 6 months without saying anything because it would have been a lot better to look at right from the get-go. Then the next 10 months after, before release, they could add all the touch-ups that they needed, all of the missing content, all of the things that they implemented but they're not able to release yet, like the Global Wonder Trade system for some reason. I still have no idea why that's not up yet. And hell, let's look at Pokemon Legends Arceus for a second. When we got the first trailer, a lot of us definitely noticed that the world looked really empty and everything looked really choppy. We tried to look past that best we could because we were just so excited for something new. However, in reality, that game was also not exactly in a place to be shown off just yet. From what we've seen from the more recent trailers, frame rate stuff is not as much of an issue anymore. And also, from the people that got early copies for whatever reason and are leaking everything, nobody seems to have a problem with the frame rate anymore, so I guess that's good to hear. Anyway, enough running around in circles, you get my point. Time is necessary for game development, so Pokemon, please take it! You guys are not some YouTubers that are fighting against the algorithm to get your next video up. You guys are an enormous company with plenty of money and lots of fans that will wait as long as it takes because they are lifelong. You guys do not need to rush anything for any reason. There are so many things that, while okay, could be so much better when it comes to Pokemon. And they're all very much things that, given the actual expected 2 to 3 year time frame of development, could be incredible afterwards. For example, given that time frame, you guys could actually write a proper story. For too long with the Pokemon series have we had generally no story or all of the story thrown in at the very last minute. Why does that need to happen? You guys could actually, if you take the time to write it, put the story in very intricate places during the game itself and not just shove it in at the end. For the most part, 5th and 7th gen actually kinda started to follow that. But after that, we just never got that again, and I'm still wondering what's going on here. And also, you guys know how to create characters. Hell, you guys develop characters on a regular basis that you have us simping over all the time. Why don't you utilize those characters and make them memorable? Put them in situations throughout the game in the story that make them memorable and have them have an actual developing arc. Just like everything else, story writing takes time. Take the time to develop that. Develop the plot, develop the characters, develop the cohesive story. It's that simple. Another thing, you guys need to take the time to actually develop the art style and the animation. For some reason, since you guys have started developing games on the Switch, you guys have very much struggled with deciding on one coherent art style, and it's very concerning. Like, Let's Go, okay, that was fun, I could look at that. That game looked very decent for the most part. I like the way that game looked. Sword and Shield, that was crazy. There were just so many different things that just didn't mesh well because they were all completely different from one another. All these weird textures just didn't blend well, and that goes for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as well. All of the assets that you guys insert into the game should be able to work with one art style if you give it the time to do so. I think it's very valid and safe to say that trees shouldn't look like they were just slapped onto the grass at this day and age. That looks ridiculous, guys. We don't need that anymore. Please put the trees in the ground. And then, the animation. This one drives me absolutely up the wall. Now, I'm not sure if we've really talked in depth about it before because we've talked a lot about problems with Pokemon, but the transition from 2D Pokemon to 3D Pokemon was rough, to say the least. There are simply Pokemon that I refuse to use because they just look so ugly in 3D. When it comes to the Pokemon, the long and short of it is, they need updated and upgraded animations. Whether or not the animations for some of the Pokemon that we've gotten within the last 3 generations are good or not are completely debatable. However, there are Pokemon that we received from generations 1 through 5 that got updated to 3D animations and they just do not look good. I think it's safe to say that it's about time to go back and revisit some of these animations and take the time to actually make them look proper. Let's take Salamence for example. Used to be one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. He used to be very intimidating the way he stood there. He used to be so cool and awesome. Now he looks ridiculous flying in the air all the time with his wings out that far, outstretched. Please, revisit that. This just looks mad goofy now, and I legitimately can't stand it. It's awful. I'm telling you right now for a fact that if we get access to this Pokemon again and it still looks like that, I'm not using it. Anyway, we can run on that racetrack all day and night. Point of it is, get back to some of those Pokemon and redo some of these animations and make them look a little bit better, because there's just no way we can go into yet another generation using the same exact 3D models that we've had since the first 3D Pokemon. It's been way too long. Revisit these animations. Now, there's actually another thing that I wanted to talk about regarding the animation. However, I think I'm going to go ahead and save that for a different video, one that's going to be coming very soon also regarding Generation 9, so make sure to stick around for that. But we still have a lot to talk about when it comes to the animation, but for now we're going to move on to another thing that was a huge problem for the last couple of Pokemon games. We need actual proper access to Pokemon. I hate talking about this so much because we have talked about it so many times, but when it's crucial to the operation, it's got to be brought up. So I apologize for having to make you guys hear this again, but I'm going to say it again. Once upon a time, it was stated that we cannot have access to every single Pokemon in the entirety of the Pokemon universe because there simply wasn't enough time and they wanted to focus on the animations. Now, you guys have heard the same spiel over and over and over again by now. You can't give us one and not the other, yada yada yada. You get it by now. But why don't we take it back a step further? Why wasn't there enough time? Like, think about it this way. What if you guys actually took that extra 2 or 3 years and not only worked on the animations for everything that you wanted to do regarding the moves or the trainers and the art style or whatever, but also give us a majority of the Pokédex? Because why not? You see where I'm coming from here? This is yet another situation where it was simply just time. You just didn't have enough time. You didn't give yourselves enough time. It's so fascinating to me that all of these problems could be solved with just extra development time. See, what's crazy to me is GameFreak is a development company that knows exactly what they're doing. They know how to make games. They know how to make good games. Hell, people love Pokemon for a reason. If you're asking me, I can't sit here and say that almost any of the Pokemon games are just straight up bad, because that's not the case. 9 times out of 10, it's always come down to, wow, they could have or should have implemented this when they had the chance. This would make this work better than it already does. Even of the worst generations, I personally believe that they still could have been the best of the series if they just had more time to cook. And that's what it comes down to, especially with this last year. At the time of this video, I don't want to say too much about Pokemon Legends because it's not in my hands yet. But when it comes to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I feel that, like my review said, it's very fair to state that it just simply needed more time to cook, and it could have been a very good remake. You know, as opposed to just, okay. And I really think that Generation 9 of Pokemon really does have the potential to be the best of the series if you guys truly just take the time to work on it. Which is where this all comes into play. Simply put, at the very least, I certainly do not want Generation 9 this year. I don't think that whatever you guys show us will be ready in time for it to be a better game than it absolutely could be. We can live without a very big unnecessary holiday release for 1 or 2 years. Hell, if anything, just take a little bit of an advantage with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokemon Legends. We all are pretty much going to have both of these games give us little updates and little events, and for Pokemon Legends, give us some kind of story or something. Just something, a little tidbit of something to hold us over for a little while. Still feel like things are taking too long? Hey, contact one of the many developers that I know you guys got in your back pocket to develop a spin-off game that people have been waiting for a long time. Something from the Mystery Dungeon series, something from the Pokepark series. If you can find a way to make it work, something from the Ranger series. Just something else that is not a mainline game that's not going to be ready in time. There's no need for that. Now, I completely understand that it's probably just super beneficial to release a game every year and to line your pockets with that much money. Okay, fine, you guys are bigwigs. I understand where your minds are at. But think about it this way. Just sit with me and imagine for a second. A Pokemon game that was in development for 5+ years. Think about how much time the story has to be crafted. Imagine how much time the mechanics have to be crafted. Think about how much time that region and the art style and the animations would have to be crafted. If you've come to know me, you know that one of my biggest pet peeves is wasted potential. I absolutely hate that when it comes to story, games, whatever. I hate when there's just so much wasted potential. And Pokemon is a big, fat, conglomerate blob of untapped potential. Potential that is simply dragged down by time. And I don't think that there's a reason, this day and age, to do that. Will you listen? Probably not, but I've said my piece. We'll see what comes of this upcoming year. I've said what I needed to say, and I need to stop. I actually had to limit myself on saying a lot of things for this video because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about for another video very similar to this one. Call it the sequel to this one, actually. It'll probably come up very soon, but for now, we have Pokemon Legends on the horizons, and we need to talk about that as much as possible before it comes out and does what it does. I really don't know what to expect with that, but we'll see how things plays out. But either way, I'm passing the mic on to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you want Generation 9 of Pokemon this year? Do you want them to absolutely not do anything relating to Generation 9 this year? Finish up Pokemon Legends and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and then focus on it? That's probably me projecting a little bit, but what do you guys think? I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section below because I'm so curious, and you know for a fact that I'm always down there with you guys without a doubt. But with that, I'm gonna leave it to you and I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm out. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!